Centuries ago, this, our America, was just miles of land untouched by human hand. But under that land awaited a never-ending fortune of generational wealth, and only the wisest knew it for a fact. When man traveled west, a man named Augustus J. Beauregard knew exactly where to look. He and his trusted team quickly laid claim to the land and settled with anyone who stood in the way. Well, sir, that's the way the exigent oil corporations done business for well over a century, and we're gonna keep getting these bags. Till this whole biznetch burned downhill, you feel me, we are exigent oil. Profit, pride, blood.
All right, everybody, we're back for the second half of RWL Southwest. My name's Chicago Denny Aslam, and joining me, acting de facto general manager Gene Berry. How does that sound, Gene?
Fitting and appropriate. Acting de facto general manager certainly sums it up very nicely, Danny.
For those of you that might not be understanding, Gene here runs this entire thing. Scott Bell puts his name on it, takes all the credit, but Gene here does all the grunt work.
Danny, you don't know what it means to me to hear you actually say it out loud.
We're starting off the second half with another member of that group that calls themselves the Toxic Table. First we saw AJ Hawk, now we're about to see Boston Connor, one-on-one against the Big Boss Man.
Oh, squash match. Lovely. This is going to be fun.
Our next match, one fall, with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing, representing the Toxic Table, from parts unknown. Wait, also unknown. Here's Boston Connor.
Well, if Boston Connor is anything like AJ Hawk, well, this is going to be a very short and very pitiful exchange.
It's an interesting look. A little bit Undertaker, a little bit Ranger Smith, a little bit Bono from U2.
And then you take Sergeant Slaughter and throw it all in a blender.
Alright, so let's ignore the fact that he says weight unknown. He's what, 6'1", maybe 6'2", possibly 220, 230 pounds? He hasn't got a chance against a guy like the Big Boss Man.
One would expect not, of course. And after the performance of AJ Hawk, I'm certainly not banking on this Boston Connor to do anything significant.
And his opponent, accompanied by manager the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, from Cobb County, Georgia, weighing in at 320 pounds, the Big Boss Man.
Well, nobody knows a lot about Boston Connor, but here's somebody everybody knows, the Big Boss Man.
One is a wrestler, one is not. One associates himself with wrestlers, the other associates himself with Pat McAfee and his sports pundits, hanging around wrestling God knows why.
So, why'd you let him work?
Well, somebody has to get beat up, don't they?
Boston Connor of the Toxic Table. This should be good for a laugh, Gene.
We need all the laughs we can get, Danny.
There's the bell. Boss Man rounds up Boston Connor, takes him to the corner, bangs his head into the turnbuckle. Bangs his head into the turnbuckle a repeated number of times. Hey, look at this. Boston Connor countering it on the Big Boss Man, turning it around. Off the ropes, a clothesline, taking down the Big Boss Man, and look at this, he's going for a cover. Well, now, this guy, pretty impressive in the opening goings, huh, Gene?
Well, Evidently didn't see that coming.
No, we didn't. Boston Connor drops a fist on the big boss man. The Grand Wizard, standing over there by ringside, he's got to be pretty mixed up. Boss man whipped into the corner by Boston Connor. The referee fixing the defective, turnbuckle. Boss man with a rolling elbow across the chest of Boston Connor. Boss man rounds him up by his throat, pitches him towards the corner. Big boss man rounds up Mr. Toxic Gable, who's taking quite a beating right here from the big boss man. Boss man rounds him up by the trunks, has him up in a vertical suplex. Very efficiently done by the big boss man.
Oh, look at this, the Grand Wizard becoming directly involved. He's got a kendo stick out there. Did you see? I didn't see that previously.
The guy's not a wizard for nothing. Big boss man rounds up Boston Connor, drives his weight into the back of Boston Connor, sets him up for a cover, but Boston Connor getting his arm up. Boston Connor counters the big boss man, takes him down to the canvas. The Grand Wizard up on the apron again, cutting loose on that turnbuckle. Boss man taken down by Boston Connor. A hard forearm, and down goes the big boss man. Whoa, Boston Connor giving the boss man a run for his money here. Whoa, well now. You gotta be kidding. He just... Wow, well, this one's getting out of control. The big boss man takes himself out here, rounds up Boston Connor while he was talking with the Grand Wizard. And now the big boss man setting him up for another vertical suplex on the outside.
Oh, look at the referee has had quite enough of the Grand Wizard. He's been asked to leave. And there he goes.
Big boss man makes his way back inside the ring. Boston Connor up near the far corner barricades, getting himself together. Well, so far, Boston Connor kind of giving the big boss man some problems here. Boss man comes on out. Headbutt takes Boston Connor down. Boston rounded back up again. The boss man with a series of shots and a headbutt. Looks like Boston Connor's not going to catch any breaks on the outside.
Most certainly not. He's being ragdolled all over the place by boss man.
Ragdolled. Yeah, that about sums it up. The big boss man got Boston Connor by the neck, rolls him back inside the ring. Boston Connor looking like he's in trouble. Boss man delivers a stomp to the back. Delivers a kick to the leg. And Boston Connor, well, this match, he had an advantage for a little while, but it is getting away from him in a hurry. Boss man charges, clothesline. And down goes Boston Connor. Big boss man going for a pin. But only a 2. A near fall. Rolling elbow from the big boss man right across the chest of Boston Connor. Boston Connor rounded up by his neck again. Pitched halfway to the far corner. Big boss man rounds him up again. Connor whipped to the ropes. Boss man ducks under. And a back body drop. Boss man covers again. But another near fall. But Boston Connor finding his way out. Running kick right to the head. Down went Boston Connor again. The big boss man seems to be having problems putting Boston Connor away.
Doing a great deal of damage, but it's taking far longer than we had expected. This match would have been over several minutes ago.
Big boss man all the way up on the top, double axe handle. Takes down Boston Connor again. Boston Connor countering the big boss man. Boss man whipped to the ropes. An elbow takes him down to the mats. Boston Connor coming back after getting beat up pretty good for the Big Boss Man. And I don't believe it. Like we said, this match should have been over quite some time ago.
I don't get it. Is Boston Connor actually good and competent, or is the Big Boss Man having a bad night?
That'd be one of the questions I'm not asking him, Gene. Boston Connor covers. But just a 1 count. Big Boss Man making his way back up to his feet in the corner. And now Boston Connor not giving him any avenue of escape here, driving knee right into the chest of the Big Boss Man. Boston Connor takes himself to the outer apron, climbs his way to the top turnbuckle. Big Boss Man, well, changes his mind about a possible high-risk maneuver, goes for a forearm, instead takes the Big Boss Man down again. A rebound off the rope and a leg drop. And what's going on with the Big Boss Man here? Seems to me this match would have been over, I don't know, what, 5-6 minutes ago? But here's Boston Connor delivering a hard time to the Big Boss Man. Boss Man went to the ropes. Drop toe hold from Boston Connor. Oh, look at this. Oh, this kid's a diamond in the rough or something, Gene.
Diamond in the rough? Well, certainly giving the Big Boss Man much for, giving him a rough time. Really impressed, in spite of myself.
Tuning up the band, super kick. Down goes the Big Boss Man, but down goes Boston Connor too. Yeah, I guess he really has spent everything he's got in the tank. Big Boss Man still laid up from that super kick. Boston Connor better go for a pin if he's gonna do it. Nope, changes his mind and decides to go for stretching the arm. He's probably gonna come back to regret that one later. Big Boss Man catches a stomp. Boston Connor, but about 2 minutes and change to go here. He's got to do something if he's gonna do it. Boss Man whipped to the far corner. Boston Connor has him up. The Big Boss Man shifts his weight and takes him down instead. Well, Boston Connor, the tides have turned one more time. Boss Man slam. Well, that's probably going to be the end of it right there. Boss Man covers. Only a 2 count. Yeah, now Boss Man knows it. That was close. Big Boss Man moves in on Boston Connor. He's got him up, hangs him up over the top rope, using a lot of weight to do it. The Big Boss Man makes his way all the way up to the top rope. Elbow right across the chest of Boston Connor. And here we go again. Boston Connor, look at this, sweeps the leg, goes for a cover. And this match right here, Gene, this is a show stealer and a half right here. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. This is amazing. Boston Connor, with a kick to the Big Boss Man, takes himself up to the middle rope. And whoa! Spinning knees to the back of the Big Boss Man. Are you serious? Look at this. Boston Connor going for a cover 1. And, well, get the hell out of here. I never would have believed it. Boston Connor picking up a win over the Big Boss Man.
The time was 9 minutes and 5 seconds. And your winner, Boston Connor.
You know, Gene, no matter what happens tonight, this is going to be the upset of the evening. Boston Connor picking up a win over the Big Boss Man. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Boss Man had an off day. He must be sick.
We'll be right back with more RWL Southwest right after this.